What's your dirty little secret? My ex told me to drug her and do with her what I wanted. So I drugged her and played video games all night with friends. She still thinks I ducked her multiple times that night. Not my thing. But she wouldn't stop pestering me about it. Holy duck the comments. We were playing EverQuest. E2. Silver. Thanks. What do I do with it? E3. Well, seems I've struck gold. Thank you kindly, stranger. I sharted at my best friend's wedding. Spent 40 minutes in the toilet cleaning up and threw away my underwear in the middle of a field. Guys, they said dirty little secret, not what prosecuted. 6 crimes are you running out the statute of limitations clock on? I pooped in my ex's cat litter. I knew I was going to see this cute guy at dinner, so I picked out a very sexy V-neck bodysuit. Of course, there was absolutely no way to wear a bra with it. I took my chances, but during dessert, I had a major nip slip. It just popped out. I had no clue what had happened until he finally awkwardly pointed it out. I'd been sitting there, eating sorbet with my boob out. Okay, so one time I was walking around on TGE Beach a few years ago and I wanted some snacks, but I left my wallet in my house, so me hungry young and dumb thought acting homeless was the best idea to get some cash. Well, 20 minutes into me sitting on a curb, some weird guy walks up to me and says, "Hey, you're kinda cute for a homeless guy, I'll give you some money if you do something for me." At that point I wanted to leave, but my dumbass stayed and followed him to a dark alleyway. Then he turns to me and says, "How much to watch you it?" And I stood there for a few minutes just taken back. I said $500 joking and he pulled out a stack of cash, so I hate to say this but I got paid for eating in a alley, but the food was worth it. 10/10 would be homeless again. Edit. Holy it guys, tie for the gold. I don't post much but now I'm really considering being homeless again, lol. There is an old bathroom in the warehouse where nobody but me and my boss, who doesn't go there, has access to. It is hidden behind a wall of boxes, 4 other doors and with no electricity. But the plumbing works. I have my personal toilet in there, and I regularly steal toilet paper from our shared bathroom and take it in there. Our bathroom we share upstairs is ITF. That one down there is a paradise. But there is no way in hell I am ever telling anyone. I've cracked one off in every bathroom of every office I've ever worked. I masturbated with the sauna ladle handle around the age when everything was a dildo. Nobody knows. They have all touched it. I have fallen out of love with my so of 3+ years and I am way too afraid to break it off. My secret, I guess, is that I'm a cowardly little it. I puked in my friend's staircase after too many shots. Luckily she didn't notice when we left her place the next morning and only saw it when we got back. Her and her flatmate discussed who could have done it and whether it could have been the neighbor's dog, but in the end thought it was too much puke for a dog, despite me saying it could totally have been the dog. In the end they figured it must have been one of the downstairs neighbors who apparently are known for coming home super drunk. Wife and I are currently separating, and I've been wary because she spent a lot of time with a guy she knows, including staying over a lot. She has been claiming that nothing is or will happen, that it's the last thing on her mind right now, etc. She came home last Thursday morning with a shopping bag, where she'd picked up some juice for our children on the way home and put some of her own stuff in it too. I thought I'd help out when she went to work by emptying said bag, only to pull out a suspender belt with stockings attached. So my secret is that I didn't tell her that I found that last week. I've masturbated to nearly every decent looking female I've ever met, and still look them straight in the face like I'm innocent. I once pissed on a tree at a party and then a minute later I saw my buddy sitting at the tree with a girl, and when they got up their pants were wet. Most of the time, save for a few select people in my circle, I don't really care about what goes in with their lives. I just ask things to be polite. The dead mice skeletons in a coffee cup in my room from like 10 years ago. I had a pet snake at the time, and my parents and I were going somewhere for like 2 days. I was supposed to feed the snake the next day, and I wasn't sure if I should feed it before we left or after we got back, a day too early or a day late. I asked my father and he said to feed her now. So as I start defrosting the mice in a cup of warm water, my mother comes down and says to feed her when we get back. We're leaving in a few minutes. Capital I. Being a confused child. Panic because I had it in my head that I couldn't refreeze the mice as they would be bad. But I didn't want them to go to waste. I ended up shoving them in a corner on my dresser and covering the cup with some random stuff. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I think it would be the shame of being seen if I tried to put them back or throw them out that made me do it. At first I didn't clean it up because I thought it would be smell super bad if I moved the stuff. And I was terrified of being seen. After a while I kind of forgot about it since the stuff it's under is never really moved. And now I don't even sleep in that room anymore. It's used for storage. No one knows my strange childhood shame. And it's just never on the top of my to-do list as an adult. Picked up a box of the street, the size of a matchbox, had some heft to it, pocketed it and walked home. Turns out there were bullets in it and owning said bullets is illegal in my country, so now I'm trying to figure out a way of disposing of them without getting caught or ending up injuring some poor dump truck worker. So when I was 4 or so, me, my brother, and my mom were having a quick lunch at one of those gas stations that has a deli in it. While we're eating, I take a little $3 dinosaur toy off the shelf and start playing with it. My brother, eager to be the family D, tries to tell on me about it. I of course deny it and stuff the toy in my pocket to hide it, with the intention of putting it back when I got a second. Well, that opportunity never came, and before you know it we're leaving the store and driving home. I swear that toy felt like a hot molten coal in my pocket. I was panicking and just wanted it gone. We get home and go inside and still this guilty toy burns at my side. We have a big yard, so I wait what I thought was an appropriate amount of time and go outside to play. I go to some thick bushes and with all the power a toddler can muster throw the evidence in. Nobody has ever known. But the guilt over that $3 toy haunts me to this day. I farted once when I was driving the car with my wife in the passenger seat. She smelled it and thought I burped and said it smelled like beef jerky that she assumed I had recently eaten. And she said she was now hungry for some beef jerky. I just played along like I burped. I don't know what's worse. The fact that my bowels smell like beef jerky or the fact that my wife got hungry after smelling my fart. Despite the fact that I tell dad jokes constantly at work, I have no kids. Major faux pas. I'm a pretty handsome guy and everyone thinks I have an easy time talking to girls. However, I'm awkward as it and I also wear women's clothing. To elaborate further, I do it in private and don't often tell women about it. On one occasion one girl went shoe shopping with me and that's how I got my first pair of high heels. I love pantyhose. I love it on women. And I love it more so on myself. Sometimes I would wear full lingerie underneath my normal clothes and go to school or work. I tuck my girlfriend in each night and nuzzle her a lot. It helps her fall asleep and she appreciates it immensely. I also do it so she'll fall asleep. And I can go crank it to so much porn. Edit. Tuck. Not tug. I've lost my laundry. I've been looking for nearly 2 days at it is ducking aloof. 3 out of 7 days a week I have a huge butt plug up my ass while shopping. I almost died when I was 7 and my parents don't know. I was with my brother's wife, then GF, out on the town doing some errands. I run ahead cause I'm a kid and she yells for me to stop. When I hear her I realize I'm on the tram rail crossing and a tram was coming. I ran back to her scared shitless. We agreed not to tell anyone since we'd both be neck deep in trouble XD. When I was a sophomore undergrad at university studying computer science in Europe, I spent one summer interning at a prestigious software company in the US as a software engineer. One day after lunch I was feeling kind of drowsy and I couldn't get myself to write any code. To waste some time and to wake up, I decided to go to the bathroom for a wank. So I hit the male bathroom, got in a stall and started jerking it. I started slowly and carefully so that I wouldn't make any noise. But I couldn't come like that. So as the feelings started getting better, I got to a point where I was milking my junk hardly and vigorously, with eyes closed. At some point I'm ready to come. But a co-worker has walked into the bathroom without me hearing him, outside of my stall. I only realize this when I suddenly open my eyes. To my horror, I realize the wall slit separating the stall door from the stall wall is much bigger in the US than in EU, where you get to keep your privacy in your stall. And my co-worker is looking right through the slit into me, worried that I was having a seizure or something. In a domination move, I stop jerking off and I look him straight in the eyes, D in hand, at which point he realized I was just rubbing one out. So he just quickly walked away, took a piss at the urinal, and left the bathroom. I then proceeded to finish. When I was in school I used to get bullied a lot, and when I was 11 my dad got a job offer somewhere else so we had to move. The last day I went to that school it was payday, physical education, which meant that first thing in the morning everyone had to change into their pay clothes and leave their regular class uniforms on their desks. We didn't use lockers. For that day I had made this really awful stink spray with rotten eggs and a whole bunch of other stuff in it, and I came in late that day so the classroom would be empty. I proceeded to take out the spray and sprayed the uniforms of all the kids that had bullied me. Some people noticed I had been the only kid in the classroom, but nobody imagined it was me because I had always been the nice kid of the class. One of the bullies even asked me if I had seen anybody else walk into the classroom when I was in there. TLDR. Stink sprayed the uniforms of bullies in class and nobody figured it was me, even though I was the only one left alone in the classroom because I had always been the nice kid. When I was in kindergarten I changed the PC name to Poop and changed it back before my father came home. I regularly go to an adult video store with glory holes in the booths and suck as much cock as I in one day. If a guy has a nice, big enough, at least 8 inches, cock I'll invite him to my booth to duck me in the ass. Been doing this 3 to 4 times a year for about 15 years. No one in my everyday life has any clue about this activity. A few do know that I am bi, but not this. I waxed and douched before I went and discussed my grades with my professor just in case. I lost my virginity last Friday, and my parents don't even know that I started dating someone, or that I had an LDR and did a lot on camera with that person as well. I am a product of strict upbringing, so I guess it's my time to go wild. Posted this before. I lost my virginity to a friend of mine's mom. Story. Summer of 81. Was mowing lawns to make some extra cash, having just gotten my license and needed gas and insurance. Since my buddies, Bob, parents split up, his father moved back to Wisconsin and left his mother the house. As part of the visitation, Bob spent summers in Wisconsin. Bob's mom, Marky, asked me to mow their yard weekly while Bob was away. Marky was in her mid-30s, looked a lot like Marianne from Gilligan's Island with bigger tits and a lot less modest since she was typically in a bikini and sunbathing when I was there to work. The third week in June was super hot and I was mowing shirtless. She was laying out as normal. I had stopped to take a drink and empty the lawnmower bag. Marky called me over and asked me to lotion her back. I did and got a huge erection when I did. She rolled over, saw the obvious tent pole in my shorts and smiled and said she knew how to deal with that. I said okay in a Forrest Gump kinda way, and she pulled down my shorts and gave me my very first blowjob right there in her backyard. I came ridiculously fast and she just swallowed it while looking in my eyes. I got hard within minutes and we just let nature take its course. We met up twice a week for the rest of the summer. She taught me quite a bit about pleasing women, including massage, foreplay, oral and positions. So my future girlfriends and wife have Marky to thank for all the skills that she taught to me the summer of 81. My best friend drunk masturbated in my bed right next to me while she thought I was asleep. I was 50/50, just lay here and hope she doesn't realize you're awake, offer my help. You can guess which option my dumber self chose. She admitted to it about 6 months later and was super embarrassed. Mostly because she thought I was asleep, but also because she didn't even think, hey, there's a guy like a foot from me who could provide assistance.